Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you're clear and loud.
Okay. My name is Sinyi. I'm first speaker from Proposition, and my pronouns are she, her, and I prefer my POIs through verbal. And therefore, I'll start my speech in three, two, in a world where hardworking individuals are vulnerable compared to individuals who's lucky, they'll have the upper hand in succeeding. They'll have the upper hand at getting what they want. Status quo has proven this to us over and over again. Therefore, we are proud to propose this motion today. Few characterization before going on to our arguments, right? Firstly, in terms of similar starting conditions in life, what do we mean? We mean same starting conditions when people are born, whether it's economically, financially, stability, family, environment, etc., etc. All these factors will be the same. Secondly, luck. Luck is an uncontrollable factor where it is able to give you the benefit without needing hard work, possibly considering talent. For example, where you can have common ideology with your higher ups, with your interviews, where you're able to meet your crush at a specific corner at school, and etc. etc. And thirdly, success. Success is an achievement in anything that you do. For example, like work, projects, and also education, where you're able to get the correct answer in an objective question without needing to work as hard as others. This is also an important thing to achieve success is to not giving up. So with this, we try that we have to believe both sides have to believe that there is an assumption where both sides live in a hypothetical world where there is similar starting conditions instead of status quo. So 1 p.m. coming out from outside our house, we're tired that possibly opposition might run on the point of sustainability and consistency, right? We try that sustainability and consistency on their side house will definitely fail because of the demotivation to continue sustaining your hard work when you're seeing other people constantly succeeding in life without needing to work as hard as you can, without needing to put in as much effort and as much time that you are putting in. So with demotivation, it brings a higher chance of them failing, therefore having possibly lower possibility to even achieve success to begin with. And we try that this makes people on their side of the house feel that unfair. Why is it that people can get success? Why is it that people can have common ideology with the interview? Why is it people that are more relatable compared to me when I've already put in that much hard work and that much effort into what I'm doing specifically? This gives a demotivation, leading to lesser probability of success. With that being clear, we tell you that we draw the clear line between both sides, where we believe luck is the important criteria to success, while oppositions believe hard work is the important criteria to success. It doesn't matter how luck works or when luck comes, it's just a matter of luck is more important than hard work. That is all. Our burden of proof here depends on three criteria today. Firstly, in terms of advantage. Secondly, in terms of opportunity. And also thirdly, in terms of progression. If we're able to prove to you, judge, all these three benefits that is able to exist on our side of the house, therefore, we tell you that we take this debate today. And our stance here is simple. We tell you that luck, which is what we benefit and we emphasize on our side of the house, brings way better advantage to individuals in all these and all the burden of proof that I've proven to you just now. Before that, any POIs coming up from side opposition? Three, two, one. Assuming there's none, I'll go on to my first argument. In terms of how we're able to have better advantage and have better exclusivity on our side house. Note that, Judge, throughout this whole argument, I'll be taking into opposition's best case scenario where their individuals will work as hard as possible as they can. So first layer, on how is it done on our side, we're able to achieve exclusivity to begin with. It means that because on our side, no one gets to control or how does luck come or even when does luck come. Both sides does not control it. So luck decides when they will stand by your side and when you'll definitely get the upper hand. Luck is something that cannot be trained. It cannot be mastered. Even with the same starting line, you have a higher chance of failing with constant hard work compared to another individual who have luck by their side. So how can this be seen? How can we picture this scenario, right? Two example given. Number one, even if everyone is born in a middle class household, but then getting a lottery is a huge change and huge advantage compared to an individual who is working super hard 24/7 to earn a stable income. Second example, even if everyone get the same chance of gaining a job opportunity, only luck allows you to even get exposed to the top and elite community by accident. That is how we prove to you that this is an uncontrollable factor that will give you the far better advantage compared to hard work. Now, onto our second layer. In terms of comparison, we tell you that there's two case scenario possibly happening on both sides of the house. Firstly, where an individual works very hard and another doesn't. When luck comes in, and luck decides to stand by the weaker individual, the hardworking one is way more vulnerable in comparison. How so? Because on our side of the house, when luck is there, you can put in not as much effort and also not as much time that you have to spend in terms of what you're working on. Whether it's education, whether it's your exam, whether it's your project that you're working on, or whether it's an interview that you're trying to pass to get to an elite community or an elite company. Whereas on opposition side, especially when time is gold in status quo, hard work burns more time and effort out of an individual, which leads to the two outcome on both sides. We tell you that in this case, we have a real life scenarios, for example, like Steve Jobs or any other millionaire that did not go through university, that did not have to put in as much hard work as those that did in university, is able to reach this success because they have luck by their side. They're able to not fail by not having proper education is because they have luck. Without luck, they'll be like majority of the entrepreneurs right now, they'll be failing with the demotivation happening and also the burnouts that is causing them in status quo. Now, onto the third layer, right? Where we explain to you with all these scenarios case given, how is it on our side we get three outcomes specifically. Number one, on government side, we tell you that we have way better motivation because people will more likely be willing to continue and chase for their dreams and success if luck is constantly popping up and giving good news in their faces. Rather than on opposition side, you're constantly being you're constantly getting burnout and disincentivization. People who work as hard as possible, but seeing others getting what they want easily, with luck gives them a motivation to even continue. No matter how strong an individual is, there will be a breaking point. How can this be seen, right? Let's take an example of getting into an interview where these two individuals is born in the same middle class household and they are going for an interview. Only luck allows you to be relatable to the interviewer and be more higher chance for you to even get recruited in the company. No matter how hardworking you are or as much facts as you know about the company, high chance the interviewer themselves will based on the emotional intelligence of the specific individual and also the luck that they have. Therefore, we tell you that note panels, throughout my whole speech and my whole argument, everything was charitable by putting oppositions in their best case advantage, and yet hard work has still failed to prove to us that it is more likely to bring us success in every case scenario. With all these examples given to you, therefore, I'm so proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Now, to formally open up the clash for this round, let's have the first speaker from some side up. Here.
Okay. I believe that you can see me clearly and hear me fluently as well.
Yes, you're clear and loud.
Okay. He can POI in chat, please. I'm not sure if I have time to take a POI, so I'll tell you if I can. Time to start in 3, 2, 1. Now, George, you may or may not see that in front of my shirt is this lucky star, but now in this case, it's only a kind of hope, but not something you can depend on, and training our abilities is the only way to win this finals. I'm gonna prove this by myself. Also, secondly, now telling about what we're gonna do in the speech. Firstly, give our two arguments, and last of our speech, we're going to break down our opponent's side winning path and tell us why our opponent's side is just ridiculous, and why our opponent's side literally proves our arguments too. Now, argument 1. Within the narrative of hard working, it's much more important to empower those marginalized people, group of people. Within why is that true? Two reasons. Firstly, is that actually in the proposition side, we'll let you actually investigate their side in a deep layer. Within it is actually a birth lottery. Is that something that has already been determined by the fate, which it means that it's actually unchangeable anyway, so your luck is your luck. And secondly, in contrast, in our side, we're still telling people that hard work is still worthwhile when you don't have luck, and people's efforts are still deserve rewarding. This is actually very good, because at least it gives people this kind of motivation to make progress and keep moving forward. But while in our pro side, with that people may choose lying flat, they probably just touch fish. Why? Because since that they think that actually they always depend on luck, waiting for uncertainty at all times. So they are trying to wait for the chance to come nearby them, and probably just simply hold this, but probably they will not hold it, and they will not care about it at all. So they are very lazy, right? But they actually will do impact. But they are hardworking. It's extremely important, especially for those kind of children on underdeveloped regions, telling them to insist on learning at school and not to drop out, meaning that at least they will have a basic academic credential that enables them to find a basic job, maintaining a basic living standard. While in the pro side, we did that children are more likely to drop out of school and depend on luck, because who knows, who cares, right? Because it ruins our future life. With that, for comparison, even if hardworking might not be enabling those kind of poor people to become wealthy and rich, but in the middle level of success is still very attainable. While in the pro side, people either way, they are always relying on luck, or probably they're just lying flat and they're just becoming lazy. No motivations to change and improve themselves. They don't have the incentive to do so, meaning that they lead to more future problems. Lastly, we're going to tell you that now in the status quo, we're going to do a status quo analysis with markets full of intensified competition and pressure, a huge pressure that is overwhelming. We tell which side that is more long-term and actually will stand still will win. That we explain. Our side very unique to win this and outweigh our opponent's side, because we have the power to face all those stuff. And first, we tell you that we have the guts to do so. Secondly, we are already mentioned that actually we cannot get shook down. That is what our side is unique. Impact. With that, we will actually give you 3 impacts at the end of this argument. With that, firstly, is that people depend on more of those kind of fictional dreams or successful people's stories, but actually neglecting this kind of truth of that most of the success is all from your hard work and abilities. Secondly, we told you that when you gain those abilities with constant hard working, we can give a very life-saving impact that mostly in these highly unstable situations, for example, very risky investments or risky places. I'll tell you that actually POI in chat, but you did not do so, so will not take POIs. We think that both sides, people will face the same situation. So which side will stand with? Again, we tell you it's a life and death situation. Which side who can stand with this kind of same person that is facing the same situation? Who will stand with? That compares stability. That we tell you that we actually expand this and tells you why we don't get shook down, because this compares stability. That which side have most risk? You have this kind of power. Not only have the power, but you have the guts to actually face this kind of those things that you are afraid, and face those kind of risks and problems that you are gonna face, like enduring this kind of during that kind of winning success, this kind of path. With that, you don't get shook down. Thirdly, we would like to weigh about time frame. We think our side is very long term, because we told you that actually we stand very still. Secondly, we told you that actually all those things, all those risks, they come by us, but we just face them all out. So we think our opponent side never gets a chance. Our side very long term. Thus, we tell you that our side is much more stable. Second argument, we tell you that pro side is more likely to get trapped by consumerism. What is consumerism? I think that all your judges know this. So actually, we are going to characterize for your side to for like judge panels to actually listen to think about it more, because we think that it's like a scam, but it's not 100% a scam. But we tell you, for example, a job tells you that you will pay, I'll give you $1 million per month, but it requires you to pay 100,000 deposit or something, right? But at the end, they just take this kind of 100,000 deposit. They take this kind of money and run. Well, actually, it's like dirty money, right? I think that actually that's what those kind of scams are gonna be like. We think that for the poor people that really needs money in the pro side, they're selfish in their hearts, get used by the people, and thus get tricked. Why is that true? When in the pro side, emphasizing luck delivers a message to the public that hard working is very important. For example, you can just become a billionaire overnight by participating in gambling or starting your own business that is having huge risk. Not only this market, but you suck, right? How can you do this, right? This kind of narrative of luck is characterized by those capitalists to those kind of poor people and tell you that you can just quickly make money. That is ridiculous, right? We think that let's do a let's do a comparison. When we face those kind of investments, we just neglect them. But in our own side, they are still trying to do so, right? Because we are pursuing those high stable investments, and we stand still in those kind of investments. Although there might be risks, but there are not those kind of unstable stuff in our own side. The impact is very simple. It's very dangerous because it fosters an illusionary hope to those common people. But it's illusionary again. With that, it tells you those kind of common people. It tells common people, poor people, to take risks instead of hard working. That's the most stable and most fair way for anyone to achieve their goals step by step. This risk include, like, for example, engaging venture capitalists or probably taking risky investments. Now we're gonna break down Ponsai winning path. They tells you the government actually misunderstands you that luck is with you, but only depends on your luck. But no one knows that you really win this lottery or not, right? We tells you this, and also they tell you that they say that they can grab the opportunity, but if you randomly go to those kind of opportunities, you will not only not success but fall further. And it exactly proves our second contention, which you say opportunity is actually a thing that is actually said by those kind of capitalists, which is illusionary. Also, they may say that they have the dare to grab the chance, and they have the guts. But firstly, you don't even know what is in the other side. Probably it's in the other side that is in the content too. But this is a scam, right? Secondly, and we think that's your guts, but not in this debate, because both sides is not mutually exclusive. We can all have guts. But then also, thirdly, we flip. The only our side that we can stand still in the long term. I don't think that our opponent dare to even wait about time frame. If you dare, you just lose. So thus, we not our side, why our side is determined to success. Even our opponent side determined to success, I think that they not only cannot success, but they're getting worse, and they're getting much and more harms, and fall further, and hurt everywhere. Thank you.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech as well. Now let's have the extensions from the side proposition. Here, here.
Hi, I'm second speaker for side proposition, Emma. My pronouns are whatever you want to call me. I take my POIs verbally. Okay, so setting up my notes. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So before I get into any of my rebuttals or any of my arguments first, let me talk about what side opposition has got wrong about the debate itself. So side opposition assumes that the motion is saying that only side government has luck to depend on. They are assuming that on our side, we will have no work at all, and on their side, they will have no luck at all. But that is completely wrong and completely false against the motion, where the motion says luck outweighs hard work in determining success, which means that we will. So, like, let's say these two people have similar starting conditions, right? They'll both be working, but one side will have more luck than the other, and one side will have less luck than the other. And the one with more luck will work less, and the one with less luck will work more. Okay? That is the situation we're basically facing right now. So, first of all, their claim is that on our side, because we are lucky, we will depend on our luck, and then we'll start becoming lazy, which is not really. There was no much backing up on this claim, because side opposition misunderstands what the motion is talking about, because we won't be lazy, we'll still be working. It's just that we're not working as hard as the hard worker. And on our side, we will also have more luck than on your side, which means that with that luck, we are able to access stuff that are exclusive on our side only. Rejected. Also, a second thing where they say hard work means you won't give up, and they told us why with hard work they will work better to achieve success because of stability. But in our first speaker speech, they already preempted your entire speech, because they said that with sustainability and consistency, which is what you might say, on your side, you're more likely to be demotivated to continue sustaining your hard work by seeing other people with luck get what you want with less work on their side. So on your side, it's much higher of a chance that the hard worker will be demotivated and will give up on trying to achieve what they want, because they see that it's unfair and they feel like they're never going to achieve that success compared to us with luck. So moving on to my next rebuttal, where they said something on, you can't become a billionaire overnight no matter what. But on this motion, which basically says luck outweighs hard work in determining success, it is possible if you're lucky enough. So if no matter how hard you work, if you do not have the luck, of course you cannot be a billionaire in one night. But if you have some sort of luck in gambling and you're just really good at it because you're lucky, it is possible with luck itself. So they're just trying to prove that on our side, it is possible that luck outweighs hard work in determining success. So moving on to a few stuff, two of my arguments. My first argument will cover opportunities, and my second argument will be covering progression. So on my first argument, which is opportunities, let's see what happens when you have luck. So when you have luck, you are able to access opportunities because you have the talent, and you are more likely to continue doing what you want because it makes you happy because you're good at something at the start and you want to do it better because you have the potential to succeed more. But when you are only depending this on hard work and you have no talent, which is directly connected to how much luck you have less likely of a chance to have an interest in something. So for example, if I have musical talent in violin, I will more likely continue playing violin. But if you don't have the musical talent in violin, you're less likely to continue playing violin because you just don't have the motivation to do so, and people are telling you that you're just a normal person. So on our side, with luck, you are able to get access to stuff and opportunities and programs, and to be able to even like see things happening. So on our side, in the beginning of even achieving success, you need to be able to access and be able to see someone telling you about these programs or someone telling you to research about it. On their side, because they depend on their own hard work and sheer hard work more, they are less likely to be able to stumble upon a lot of stuff that require your luck. So when you Google search something, and I somehow, with my luck, I will be able to see an opportunity that connects with my goals easier. But on your side, if you only have hard work and less luck, you're less likely to be able to see a program or join a program because you just never seen it before or never heard of it before. So on our side, we are the first step to even get into the process of working towards success, and it is the main step to determining whether you succeed in life or not. If you are super lucky, you're more likely to get what you want because you are able to see that, maybe you're lucky with the interviewer and you both share an interest on a certain topic. You are able to connect better and you make a better impression with the interviewer. But on your side, because it depends surely more on hard work, and you have very few luck, there's a lower chance of you being able to connect to the interviewer, and you're competing with other contestants who are also going for the same job and are also more likely to be working as hard as you are, or not even harder. So on both sides, we have to be clear that the fact that both sides are unable to control luck. So it's exclusive on our side. We are able to we are less likely to deal with situations that are unfavorable to us, where we see any questions we never stumble upon when we are doing research and we're asked about it. That is less likely to happen on our side because luck is able to protect us from that. But on your side, because you base it mostly on hard work and you have less luck, you're more likely to not be able to stumble upon that certain question that might come out in your exam or come out in your interview. So panels, it may seem true, it may seem cruel, but it is definitely the truth. And if it wasn't the truth, life wouldn't be unfair. So moving on to my second argument, I want to start with the fact that if anyone was able to work hard enough, as long as they work hard enough, they were able to get what they want. People won't be getting rejected by their dreams, universities, by their dream jobs in the world. So let's talk about my third argument, which is on progression. So let's say the scenario where you are very lucky. So you are less likely to do any mistakes that you wouldn't want in the first place. For example, falling down in front of your interviewer, spilling coffee on your interviewer's clothes. Why? Because you're able to focus on success. And with this, right, you're able to focus more on success better. And you don't have to worry about unwanted situations. Or you don't have to panic about, oh no, what am I supposed to do when this happens? What am I supposed to do when this happens? Because you're lucky, you're less likely to see these scenarios happening. So for example, maybe you are less likely to get in a car accident. You are less likely to have a family member die at a wrong period of time that is like unfavorable to you. So this is exclusively on our side only. Side opposition cannot come out and say that, oh, this is wrong because this is factually correct. There is nothing you can say about the fact that, oh, without luck, this won't happen anyways. So let's see when we don't have luck and you still work hard. Okay, so let's say you have minimal luck, and you're the hardest worker in the room, it is still possible that you get what you want, but it's less likely because you're more likely to get into accidents that will make it harder for you to focus. And even in the best case, where you're a very hard worker and you're very smart, you're able to focus no matter what. It's still less likely you get chosen because of time. Why? Because on our side, because we have luck, we don't have to waste time worrying about someone else or worrying about the situation we're in or worrying about recovering. On your side, you have less time because you have to worry about stuff that wouldn't happen on our side. So it's less likely you're chosen to achieve success because you have less time to do your other stuff too. So let's see your best case. Let's say you get what you want, are able to get where you want to get in the workplace. You still have to compete with others, and it will only get harder and harder because the more you go up the ladder, these people are going to be as hardworking as you, and now they'll have more luck than you. So it'll be way harder for you to get success. And our first speaker already came in with a preamp saying that people get more motivated and they're more likely to give up. So it's not something that side opposition can control. That is why we win the debate. Proud to propose.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech as well. Let's have the extensions from the side up. Here, here.
Before my speech start, I want to check whether am I audible.
Yes, you're clear and loud.
Okay, thank you so much. And PY in the chat box, no verbal interruptions. My speech gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so generally, I think the biggest problem in the proposition side of house is that they never tell me about why, even given the case that luck is uncontrollable, why setting luck as a metric, setting luck as a narrative is still important in this debate. I think totally they're missing or deviating away from the burden of proof in their side of houses. Well, our side of houses, we're gonna offer you first why luck is gonna to give rise to more social harm, and second, why setting the hard working as a social metric is gonna give rise to more innovation and better social benefits. So first of all, let's do some engagement toward the holistic proposition of cases. First of all, I think opening proposition talk about how the efforts will not be paid off all the time. So they're gonna make people self-doubt. We're gonna have two layers responses directly flip over the cases. First of all, I think this is not mutually exclusive because even if given the case that okay, the effort won't always pay off, but still it is asymmetrical to the proposition side when you are simply relying on luck, right? This is because luck is more likely to be unpredictable, unlikely to happen. But at least in our side house, I think we still have larger likelihood to realize because paying effort is something that can be determined by yourself. For example, it's like we are choosing a major, what kind of major you're gonna take, what kind of job you're gonna do, right? So at least this is something you can determine by yourself, even if the success won't always happen, but at least paying effort is something which is under your own control. But talking about the luck, I think luck is totally just defined by the fate, right? It is unchangeable anyway. You can never decide on your birth lottery, nor decide on anything about what is your identity, what is your nationality, etc., right? So that's the reason why our side house, given the fact that efforts won't always pay off, effort won't directly lead to success, but we still have more likelihood of achieving success by the hard working because at least it's something that you can determine, right? Second of all, even if efforts won't always pay off, but think the way of realizing our success is still important. The way of paying off effort are still important. So why does two things? First of all, I think the process of the paying effort is very important and worthwhile because first, I think paying off your effort, working hard means that you're gonna cultivate working experiences throughout the process, even if the outcome may not be so good. But the way of how you acquire the working experiences, the way how just cultivating your personalities, like resilience, like the hard working, like teamwork, is still attainable. It's still this kind of like experiences are very duplicable in your future job career as well, right? So that's the reason why we cannot just take everything just by the end, just by the result. I think the middle process is something we can still acquire, which can be charitable in the future. While in the proposition side house, what they only do is just waiting for luck, right? They're just waiting for, okay, maybe one day I'm just gonna be a billionaire, maybe one day I'm just gonna be a very brilliant entrepreneur in the future. However, in the middle process of how they just achieve this kind of success, they never do anything, right? That's the reason why I think they're directly wasting the time, wasting the middle process of time, how they become success at the end of the day, which is totally worthwhile. Well, not worthwhile. Second of all, I think even if the highest level of the success is not attainable, but still, I think the middle level of success is still attainable, especially for the people who are underprivileged, which means that hard working here is still valuable. This means that, for example, like the rural regions children, these are in a very, very, very extreme background, which is not really good, right? They're underprivileged. They cannot really get access to the well-education resources at the very first beginning. But telling them that hard work is important means that we're just encouraging to say, okay, your efforts still worthwhile. You don't just have to drop out of school. You're learning, keep on learning, still important to your future life. So this kind of like resilience, this kind of like insistence will enable the students not just to, for example, not just to be admitted by the top level students, top level universities, but at least they can attain the admission from the middle level of universities and guarantee the basic living standard in the future, right? Because after they have continued their academic credentials, after they continue the way of learning in their academic studies, at least they're gonna find their skills. They're gonna just could cultivate some kind of skills and finally enable them to find a basic job and make a basic living standard, right? But this is even better than the proposition side of world. We're just gonna tell them, okay, since you have been so poor, you have been so disadvantaged, then you can just probably just give up yourself and without any hard working, just to rely on luck. I think this will directly just make their situation even worse, right? I think this is exactly the reason why our side houses are more likely to empower, especially for the underprivileged children or underprivileged group of people in this scenario, because we directly give them hope. We directly just give them more motivation to continue study, even if the top level success is not attainable, but still the middle level success is still important to maintain their life and give them more tangible benefits, right? Second of all, talk about their probability side cases. The probability side also talk about, okay, luck just give rise to a lot of chances. For example, in the society, there's so many entrepreneurs that are originated from luck. However, I think this is totally wrong from two things. First of all, becoming entrepreneurs is nothing related to whether you're lucky or not, because entrepreneurs and those successful people, I think this is more likely to be the social reasons. For example, owing to the structural barrier, like if you're born in a rich family, you are born in a family where your parents are all entrepreneurs, you are more likely to acquire the skills of how to manage the company, how you can just do the human stuff, right? So you are even just inherit your family assets later on and become entrepreneur, just take over the family assets from your parents, right? So this is owing to the structural barrier. This is owing to these people who are privileged. They cannot succeed their assets, succeed their inheritance, right? This is nothing to do with whether you are lucky or not, right? So this is the reason why I think even if it's true, but still it's not important because it does nothing to do with the people who are underprivileged anyway. Thirdly, I think probability also talk about how luck just give people hope, for example, to achieve their dream. I think this is totally not true because first of all, I think people just given the fact that luck is something which is unattainable, luck is something which is very uncertain, which means that luck may not always just appear on yourself, right? So when they see, especially when people see, okay, maybe other people are more lucky than me, I think this will only just generate more social jealousy, right? For example, they're gonna hold more hatred attitude towards the people who are more lucky than me, who are more lucky than themselves, right? So this has nothing to do with whether it can generate people's hope or not, but the only result at that, the luck or differs from one person to another. It generates more social jealousy, which will even further give more mental burden for individuals to constantly self-blaming. For example, they're gonna blame themselves for not being so lucky without having any kind of incentive to move on their hard working, right? Move on to how to realize their dream step by step, how to realize their dream by some practical plans, right? This is the reason why I think luck does not really give people hope, only foster jealousy, but only foster people's like imbalanced mentality finally transferred into a self-blame without any kind of practical measure to quantify their efforts in order to achieve their dream step by step. And furthermore, I want to consolidate our cases by telling you why our house built a very, very strong case in this debate. First of all, I think as my partner have already mentioned in this debate, we're telling you that mostly, especially for poor people, they're more likely to be trapped by this kind of like consumerism. This is because they have great desire to achieve success overnight. But why it is more likely to be utilized by the capitalists in the proposition side of the house? I think capitalists are more likely to characterize a picture to the kind of poor people that, okay, you can become billionaire overnight by participating in some gamblings or by starting up your own business levels. So the narrative oftentimes characterized by this capitalist to the poor people about how to make quick money based on short term. But why is that so harmful? This is harmful is based on people's desire, right? They're gonna may think they may be lucky, right? They may think they are still lucky. So this result is gonna give us to more venture capitals, right? Directly make their financial condition even worse. Okay, so based on all I'm saying, very proud to oppose.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Let's have the last speaker from the side of opposition. Here, here.
Hello, can you please give me a few seconds?
Yeah, no problem.
Hello, am I audible?
Pinjam.
Yes, you're clear and loud.
All right. So, hello, my name is Adrian, and I'm the third speaker for my team. I'll be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, before I move on to clarifying everything that is in this debate, let me just say on the fact that yes, it is true that luck may seem absurd. It can go as simple as you picking A or B, and you picking A out of two choices and you got A as correct in an exam, or even go so far as you are lucky enough to survive cancer. Because luck is so absurd and so uncertainty that we do not know when we need it and when it's going to happen, but we do know at the end of the day it is going to bring us good, because that is what luck is at the end. And that is clearly what my first speaker has been trying to tell you. My first speaker was trying to tell you that because luck can't be controlled, if it is on your side, do be happy because it is going to help you. For example, like she said, your ideology aligned with your interviewer, or you meet your crush at that specific time at a specific place. So, three things that my team have talked to you on. The first one is advantage. Our advantage is on the fact that we have luck, and this luck, even if it is minimal luck, even if on our worst case we do get minimal luck, it is still better to get that, to be lucky enough to be in that opportunity, to be in that time at a specific moment, and that is our advantage. Because no matter what, luck is something that you can't train. Hard work is something that you can train, that anyone can get if you have the motivation and you have the discipline to do so. And we are not just one individual in this world. There are multiple other people that will have the same hard work as you, or will even have more hard work than you. Hence why we believe that luck is the playing point in determining success. And secondly, opportunities. You only have opportunities if you're lucky enough to be there at a specific time, or if you're lucky enough to have that person telling you about their opportunities. See on the fact that I keep emphasizing on the word lucky enough, because not everyone will have the same opportunities. But right now in this motion, we're comparing someone with similar starting condition in life, and these two people, even though they start the same, they might have the same family, they might have the same family condition, as living in the same economy or whatever. So onwards in their life, they will meet different people, and they will meet different people, have different kind of school, have different kind of job, and whatever. So hence where luck plays in here. And thirdly, is on the fact that progression. We're not just talking about us chasing our goals. We still have our own life outside of us chasing our goals. What do I mean by this? On the fact that whenever let's say for example, we are on our way to go to training and we almost got hit by a car. We were lucky enough to not get hit by a car, and that's where luck plays into here. If we weren't lucky enough, we would have got hit by a car, and that will play an effect in our progression towards success. Hence why luck is so important. Now, a few rebuttals that I would like to do is on the first one. The first speaker told you that luck is not something that you should depend on. And yes, we do agree. It shouldn't be something that you only rely on. But that is only on the pretext that our side is lazy and our side do not care about doing any, do not put any hard work. And yeah, sure. Even if we were to come out into us and then say that on our side we have a high likely chance of being lazy because everything is going our way, to analyzation on here. First one, yes, there is a chance that our individual might be lazy because everything is going there. But secondly, do remind you that luck only opens the gate for you towards success. It does not mean that it will keep you stable there. You still need to put hard work. Let's say you got accepted into the school that you want. You can't just be lazy and expect everything to go your way. Why do I say so? Let's say you have an exam, you have an essay. If you do not study anything, you can't expect for you to be lucky and get the answer correct if you put no answer in the first place. Here's where I told you that our side will still have the chance to have hard work, because at the end of the day, it's at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's controllable or not. Our policies should be focusing on whether which have a higher chance of bringing you to success, luck or hard work, and that is where the motion is asking us to debate on. Secondly, on the fact that first speaker said that they are more gutsy to do stuff because they first and second speaker say that they are more gutsy, they are more confident to do stuff because they have been training, they have the hard work to do it. Yes, we do agree that is the case. However, when we're talking about determining success, it's opening the door for you to go to that. To make it simpler for you to imagine. Imagine two persons want to go to the NBA. If one of them train their hardest every day, shooting their shot, making it perfect, no matter what. But if on the day of selection, they did not get picked because they did not make all of their shots simply because maybe they were nervous or whatever. So, but on the other side, someone was lucky enough to make all their shots, and that's where they get picked, and that's where luck comes into play. Just because you train your hardest, what matters is when you are tested, and that is what we believe is where luck can determine success for you. And lastly, on the fact that consumerism. So on the first speaker, I believe that there wasn't really much analyzation and there wasn't any proof on why consumerism plays into part here. But then I listened to second speaker and I start to understand more on why the opposition seems to talk about consumerism. From what I get, is that consumerism, they were talking about consumerism as in like, oh, now people that are lucky is somehow going to fall into a trap where they're going to get scammed, they're going to get into this, gamble now and you can win overnight. That is very, firstly, in my opinion, that we believe that is an extreme case. Not everyone will fall into this kind of trap. And secondly, even if we do fall into this kind of trap, if we have the luck to win, the gambling or whatever, so then we are simply lucky and we do win overnight because that is how luck works. So even then, I still do believe that consumerism does not play a part into here and it is irrelevant in the first place. Now, moving on to my clashes. Firstly, which side opens the door to success or opportunity? We believe that it is on our side because without luck, it is much harder for you to go out of your way to find the opportunities for you to get into the college that you want, to find the job that you want, because luck still does play into a part when there's so many other factors in life, such as at the perfect time or the correct person that you meet, or even whether the emotion of the interviewer that is interviewing right now. And that is where we believe that we open the door for you if you believe in luck. And secondly, which side affects your life more outside of working towards your goal? Like my second speaker have already told you, luck does not only come into play when you're working towards your goals, when you're working towards your dream. It still does come into play in your normal day-to-day life. What do I mean by this? Maybe you walking and not falling down, or maybe you walking to school and then you found $50 on the road, and that is where luck comes into play, and it will help you towards your goal, even if it is from your day-to-day life. And thirdly, which side ensure motivation to chase further? What I mean by this, my first speaker already told you that on our side, when you have the luck and you have hard work, and now you are more inclined to go further because you know that if you put in the work and you have the luck to back it up, you know that you're going to get it. And even if we do have like mediocre luck or minimal luck, you still have luck and you still have hard work, and it's still going to bring you somewhere, which is what I believe the second speaker was trying to fight for. Like, even if you don't get high success, you'll still get minimum success. And we believe that we can also get that even with minimal luck, which is our worst case. I am very proud to propose.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech as well. Now let's have the third speaker from the opposition. Here, here.
Okay, wait a sec. So if judge is ready and opponent's ready, time shall start in 3, 2, 1, and now. So, Judge, we strongly stand on the opposition side, and this is our spear from opposition, right? Today, the core thing of this debate has never been whether luck exists. Instead, is under similar starting conditions, what is decisive variable for success, and which narrative can truly empower people to take control of their own lives. So now in the next 8 minutes, I will like do some rebuttal and clarification. Also, way that may clash of the debate. So part one, now let's rebuttal their point as they say love gives hope. So first, well, let's do rebuttal this by using premise challenge. The hope of the proposition is false. The proposition assumes that hope from luck is positive, but this premise is fundamentally wrong. We define genuine hope as an expectation that can be realized through one's own actions. It replicates and provides long-term motivation. In contrast, the hope of luck from the proposition is uncertain chance, unpredictable accident, and the fantasy completely beyond one's control. Take a concrete example. For example, some guy, is from developing countries, Western region, and with the same starting point as her child in her village, as a poor family. Their limited education resources. However, if we tell this guy success depends on luck, what is her hope? Is it waiting for a lottery ticket to win, or a distant relative to suddenly appear and change her fate while she just sits at home? This is not hope. It's a trap to make her give up study and lifeline, waiting for an uncertain miracle. Second, dealing here. What does not lead to hope, but to passivity and despair? The proposition claims a causal link between luck and hope, but we break this link directly. When people attribute success to luck, they no longer believe in their own efforts. For example, let's still use this guy, for example, who works in a factory and starts believing that success is a matter of luck. He starts learning new skills, like he lies flat, but is that, for example, if you win a lottery and get $100 million, is that actually possible? Maybe for the rest of his life, he'll be just lying on his sofa and watching TV. Is that really hope, right? That's but when he doesn't succeed, he blames bad luck. No. Last, third, the hope of the proposition is actually a tool for these explanations. The narrative of luck is often used by these capitalists to deceive the poor. They tell you that you don't need to work hard. You can get rich overnight by gambling or starting a business. But this is not hope. It's a way to make poor people accept themselves. Accept themselves as as a poor person and just wait for them to become rich. Surely, Judge, this is not the thing you should go for. So now let's weigh the main clashes of this debate. First clash, which side is more likely to empower the most underprivileged people to achieve a basic standard of living? Notice here we're characterizing underprivileged people, okay? The proposition claims that luck can change fate, but we argue that hard work is the only reliable way for underprivileged to improve their lives. So, the proposition's birth lottery argument is fatal. They actually think that this birth luck is like unchangeable, but they still tell people to rely on luck. This is actually a cruel joke. Just think about it. A person that is poor and in the mountain areas has the same starting point as her peers. But if she does not work hard, what will actually happen is that she will she will do nothing. However, if we say that you need to change your fate on your own self, she will start insisting, and the person will start insisting on studying with a basic academic kind of way, find a stable job, and maintain basic living standards. This is what I would say can actually really give you. So our advantage here is that hard work gives the underprivileged uncontrollable path to success. Even if they cannot become billionaires, they can achieve middle-level success. We are saying that this is not a fictional dream, but it's achievable goal using your own hands. Second, we're going to weigh this by saying that even if we just suppose that even if you become a billionaire in one day, you still don't be respected, right? For example, even if these people are poor, as we say, these people who, the delivery man, or the people who bring milk to your house every day, we still respect them because they earn money with their own hands. However, if just some guy just lays at home and one day he won the lottery, actually people will just be jealous. You will think that why this guy is so lucky and he didn't even work hard, right? So so now let's talk about the impact here. The proposition's narrative leads to more social problems. If the underprivileged give up hard work and rely on luck, you fall into poverty and despair, increasing social inequality. Also, the largest impact of this is that this will spread wide. If A thinks that I can lie flat and wins the lottery, then B thinks that he can do this. However, B is not as lucky as A, right? So this will spread into the whole society, creating a larger impact, and the stakeholders will be unbelievable. Now, let's move on to the clash 2. Which side is more likely to gain more valuable things in the process, even if the final result is actually a failure? The proposition focuses on the final result of success, but we argue that the process of hard work is actually more valuable than the result of luck. So, their flaw is that the proposition only cares about whether you succeed or not, but you ignore what you gain in the process. For example, a young worker relies on luck to start a business. He gets a large investment by chance, but he has no management skills or market insight. When the market changed, his company collapsed, and he has nothing left. He gains nothing from the success that actually when he wins the lottery and he gets a large investment, except a false sense of confidence that I'm okay. However, on our side, when you work hard on your own, you have a strong foundation to work on and make it more sustainable. Our advantage here is that hard work cultivates valuable abilities and character. For example, again, this young entrepreneur worked hard to start a business, and we say as she studied markets, build teams, and overcome countless of difficulties. Even if her company fails, she gains valuable experience, skills, and has a strong will. These are life-saving abilities for her future challenges, and maybe she can start the business up again. Impact. In the long term and short term, hard work provides stability and resilience. When you gain abilities through hard work, you can adapt to change and recover from failures. Luck, on the other hand, is fleeting. When luck runs out, you have nothing to fall back on. This is why our side is more sustainable and beneficial on the long run. So, now, in conclusion, the proposition's narrative of luck way out of hard work is a false and harmful myth. It makes people give up their own efforts, trap them in passivity and despair, and is used as a tool of these kind of explanations. Our narrative, however, on the other hand, is a very important way to empower the underprivileged, cultivate valuable abilities, and build up more and a stable society. Thus, Judge, we are stand on the opposition side. Thank you very much.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Now we're down with the constructives. Let's move to the reply. Let's start from the opposition. Here, here.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're clear and loud.
Okay, cool. So PM chat box, no verbal interruptions. My speaker gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I think the biggest clash in this debate is like the passive waiting in the proposition side while active fighting in our house. We're active fighting for our fate. We're active fighting for every uncertainties, even if we know something tend to be a failure. We're gonna prove you two things why our side will win this debate. First of all, we're gonna have more likelihood to achieve our success because in the proposition side house, I think everything is uncertain. Everything is like a it's not determining thing, right? For example, your fate, which is totally uncontrollable. But in our side house, I think at least there's something still within people's control. For example, choose your major and choose the work you like, right? People can still achieve a rather extent of self-actualization from their own effort, right? Second of all, I have proved you why even if the final result is a failure, but still our side house is gonna have more charitable process because of people who are fighting for their dream, people who are just fighting for their ultimate goal, destiny, throughout the way of paying efforts is still valuable in the middle process. We have a lot of cherishing charitable experiences, right? Cultivating people's personality, resilience, and all these things could never be acquired by the proposition side, where they simply just waiting for hope, waiting for luck, which will never come at a certain time. Lastly, even if given the take the best case scenario, the proposition side, okay, they can gain success just by luck. Maybe the god of luck suddenly just occurred to them. I think students never gain social respect, never gain any kind of social recognition because people around them, the general public may deem that, okay, you are successful, or you are so successful, but this success is something you are unearned, right? This is not something you are paid by hard working, not something but paid by your own effort. So you do not deserve everyone's respect. But in our house, even if in the worst case scenario, we tend to fail. We have paid our hard working, but final result is a failure. But we still deserve respect. People may think you're a very active fighter. You're really, so bravery, right? Your bravery and some resilience will be tackled with your own personal image, right? This is the reason why we still create a better world than the proposition side houses. Second of all, I think the proposition side houses also lose based on the comparison on the vulnerability. We can better protect the vulnerable group and empower this vulnerable group at the end of this debate. Because first, we have proved you why even if the hard level or the most top level success is unattainable for most of the underprivileged classes, but at least the middle level or the lower level success, for example, like they find a basic job, basic living standard, and guarantee a basic academic credential, is still attainable by their hard working, right? So when they choose not to drop off from the school, these things are still very attainable from hard working. Instead of simply waiting for luck, waiting for the uncertain thing to happen, we're doing anything in the middle process about how they're gonna achieve their dream. And thirdly, I've told you about why the providence side houses, their side, on the contrary, they're gonna give rise to more harm, especially the vulnerable people. Because in the providence side houses, I think the narrative of how luck is important are more likely to be controlled, more likely to be characterized by the capitalists who are gonna trap, especially to this kind of vulnerable stakeholders, right? Telling you that, okay, you are just gonna be millionaire, you're just gonna be a very rich people just by participating yourself in gambling or some kind of venture capital activities, etc. I think people will do this. This is because you're trying to expand people's desire. You're trying to expand this kind of like what people desire because they want to just be successful one day, right? So that's the reason why people have incentive to participate in this dangerous game. But the final outcome that they're going to aggravate their financial condition at the end of this debate, right? You're aggravating their financial condition and worsening their life at the end of this debate. So that's the reason why based on three things. First, likelihood. Second, why we create a better world. Thirdly, based on vulnerability comparisons, we win this debate overall. Based on my speech, very proud to oppose.
Here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Now, to formally wrap up this round, let's have the reply from the side prop. Here.
Few seconds, please. Thank you. Hi, my name is Emma. I'll be doing the reply speech for side opposition. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. In this debate, luck and hard work are important parts to achieve success, and it is in the motion. It's just that what we're debating on today is about which one is more important and which one outweighs the other one. So in my reply speech, I'll be talking about what both sides speakers talked about and how we will win this case. So first of all, from side government, the first speaker brought in the bill burden of proof, where we talked about exclusivity. Why? Our side proves that we have an advantage by having luck, and it's exclusive on our side only. Why? Because we are able to motivate people to not give up, because we characterize success as not giving up. How? Because when you see people who work less harder than you but get the opportunity, you are more likely to get demotivated, and this won't happen on our side, which means that we win this part of the debate where we say that exclusivity and advantage is usually more likely to be gained by luck. So on our side, people will not get demotivated. Okay, so on opposition first speaker, they also brought in the fact that people without luck are lazy. And this is their proof where they are talking about our worst case only. Even in our worst case, however, if a hardworking individual will get when a hardworking individual will get demotivated by seeing other people get what they want, they will more likely to give up and they're more likely to fail. So even if a lazy person doesn't work that much, but they have the luck and they get what they want, they are still able to achieve success. It doesn't matter, because this entire debate is about how is about whether luck is more important than hard work to achieve success. And we prove to you time and time again that this is how it works. I'm sorry that it sounds cruel, but it is the truth. Okay, so also, our second speaker comes out and rebut the first speaker that they misunderstood the entire scenario. We're not talking about whether the lucky person is going to be lazy or the hard worker will be unlucky and the hard worker will have no luck at all. We're just saying that with luck, you are more likely to achieve success than a hardworking person with no success whatsoever, with no hard work whatsoever, with no luck whatsoever. So first speaker from side opposition also comes in and says that the hard worker will feel very gutsy and they'll feel more confident. Second speaker, however, comes in and says that without luck, they will fail. So why is it that with failure, due to no luck, not enough luck, will make people more gutsy? Because when you fail once, you'll be more unsure, and this directly clashes with their claim. So moving on to their to government's second speakers 2 points. So they brought in 2 points. Number one, opportunity, where we say that luck can help you get an advantage at knowing information earlier and advantage at getting opportunities that would more likely be possible on our side than on their side. Also, we say that when you're doing research and you do a Google search, you won't get the same results because this guy might be able to stumble upon the program that will suit them best, and the hard worker might not be able to stumble upon it no matter how hard they work for it. And the second part where we talk about progression, we say that we are able to get into what we want without accidents, which directly links to the fact that we have more time on our side, and more time is exclusively on side government only. Why? Because there will be no time wasted on unlucky scenarios or worries on our side. Why? Because we are less likely to get an accident or situation that is important, and we will have more time to focus on being successful. Whereas the hard worker will have to focus on fixing their problems first before they even go on to achieve success. Time is a very exclusive factor to us only. So on side opposition, second speaker, they said that hard work is concrete proof and is controllable, and this will cause them to succeed, which is wrong because just because it's controllable doesn't mean you'll be able to succeed from it. Why? Because we already said in our governed second speaker where we have more time, and when we have more time, we are able to work harder. So on our side, we win this part of the debate. Why? Because we have more time to work on success. On their side, they'll have to worry about a lot of things just because they don't have enough luck. So our third speaker, okay, so even if we take them at their best case, let's say they're able to achieve the goal, we already say in our second speaker speech, there will be more people who work harder than you, and they might be more lucky than you. So luck is a very, very important factor in achieving success. That is why luck outweighs hard work in determining success. Proud to propose.
Here, here. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Now that wraps up the U16 Grand Finals. Congratulations for everyone for reaching this far, and good luck for the results later on. Um, let's have the deliberation with the judges on room 5